Hi everyone. The new retail sales numbers are in, and they came in on a year-over-year basis up about 3.6%. Though the pace of growth is slower than fourth quarter of last year, they're still ahead of the 10-year average. The strong employment market with 3.8% unemployment and 3.2% wage growth are continuing to support consumption. Now, when you look at the pace of growth, aside from e-commerce, which is still the leading growth segment, the three strongest retail sectors are building materials and garden equipment, which is up about 6% in the last year, health and personal care stores, which are up about 5.2%, and food and drinking places, bars and restaurants, which are up about 3.7%. Now, all three of these subsectors are dominated by businesses that occupy single-tenant space in retail properties. So I'm going to delve into those a little bit more. Now, I want to highlight some of the key features of single-tenant net leased retail properties. They're very popular with real estate investors that want to spend less time managing properties. And because the individual tenant at the net lease property is generally responsible for maintenance, owners can collect their lease payments without being very hands-on. This type of investment is particularly popular with investors who 1031 exchange out of a more management-intensive asset like an apartment building. About 40% of single-tenant net lease property transactions involve a 1031 exchange. As I mentioned, building materials and garden store retail sales grew by about 6% in the last year. This segment is dominated by Home Depot and Lowe's, which occupy both single-tenant and multi-tenant locations. Now, Home Depot is a leader in the omni-channel retail segment where customers buy a lot of goods online and then pick them up at the local store. So Home Depot has been getting a lot of momentum from their omni-channel strategies. Single-tenant Home Depot cap rates range between about 5% and 7.5%, while Lowe's cap rates range between 5.75% and about 9%. The next retail segment I'm going to talk about is health and personal care. And retail sales for this segment grew by 5.2% over the last year. Pharmacies are a major retailer in this category, led by Walgreens and CVS. Walgreens has over 8,100 locations, and they just acquired 60 Shopko locations in an effort to expand their prescription business. Walgreens trade with cap rates between 5% and 8.25%. CVS has almost 9,900 locations, and in the fourth quarter last year, they acquired Aetna Health Insurance Company. They believe this will streamline services for customers and healthcare providers alike. CVS cap rates range between about 4.75% and 8%. The last retail segment I'm going to talk about is food and beverage, which is really restaurants and bars. Sales at eating and drinking establishments grew by about 3.7% in the last year. And restaurants have become a critical component of the retail landscape. They often draw a lot of the traffic to retail centers, so they act almost like an anchor tenant. Fast casual restaurants have been the growth leader in this subsectors, and a few of the restaurant chains that have been growing very quickly include Chick-fil-A, Mod Pizza, and Shake Shack. Fast casual restaurant cap rates range between about 5% and 8%. So who invests in single-tenant net lease properties and why? Well, they're really favored by investors who want a low management real estate investment option, and they have been particularly popular with retiring baby boomers. Cap rates on single-tenant properties can vary significantly, even within a single brand, just depending on the credit of the company backing the lease, the location of the property, the lease terms, and a range of other factors. Marcus & Millichap sells more single-tenant net lease properties than any other company, so both buyers and sellers benefit from the depth of the clients our firm engages.